Hello, my name is Will Johns, and I own Furniture Outlet in the UK. We've got a couple of other business interests we have, but we've started sort of gaining some traction. I've been in business for about 4 or 5 years now, and I just wanted to sort of get YouTube started. It's only a weekly little chat I'll do to the camera, direct to the camera, which will be a monologue like this. And currently I'm in Turkey, so that's where we get the nice view from. I've actually left the UK to go to Dubai now. So most of my time throughout the year is in Dubai. But that's fast forward a little bit. The first video I do for this YouTube channel is I wanted to just sort of start with where things were originally at for me. I'm from Gloucester in the UK, and it started. I worked at Tesco. I went to college, sixth form. Worked at Tesco part time. My dad has a small company doing marquees. I worked for him for minimum wage back then. And yeah, I basically worked a job in the day and worked part time at Tesco at night, taking home sort of, I suppose back then it would have been maybe £2,000 a month from working two jobs. Now, the month we're in, so this is August 2025, we're on track to do about £740,000 in total sales. So it's come a long way. And I just wanted to sort of go through, I think a lot of people in the UK in particular are in this situation where they can't make ends meet. And just from we employ 15 people now, and I can see why. Seeing things are so expensive. And when you couple that with how much we pay them, how much in tax, how much in their account at the end, I'll go to the supermarket and I can see exactly why things are so expensive. We've got the rental places and I can see how much the rent is, I can see how much the bills are. It's extortionate. So I just wanted to go through some of the pitfalls if you're in a job, or I'll go through on my stage in this video, in a job. In sort of, you have a business, you're self-employed, but not quite making any money, or you're no time around, you're not making brilliant money, and then switch into actually owning a business and how I think you can progress from that. So when you're employed, I think one of the biggest pitfalls when you're employed, something that really is underutilized, underspoken about, is all of your options in life, all of your thoughts of other options are really quite exhausted. You're spending 8 to 10, like when I had two jobs, 14 hours a day or more working. And so you end up very much stuck into the loop of I can't sit back, take the time, use my mental energy to go, what other options are out there? Things like these YouTube videos. I'll watch loads of the guys in the UK and America is more popular for it, but you need to see that there's other options out there. And one of the biggest mindset shifts that you need to take place in your life when you're an employee specifically is if someone's employed their whole life, they spent their entire life operating on, say, £3 grand a month, take £4 grand a month, take £5 grand a month, take a max. They have to run that. As far as they're concerned, that's all the money in the world that exists to them. Maybe their absolute top aspiration would be 10 grand a month. And so it's very interesting to see when business owners have done this. So this is the first step. You need to see that even if a business owner's not making any money, they can bill, if you're a builder, you can bill 30, 40, 50 grand for a job, do the work, and you can see, okay, one of them go in and I'll do 400 grand a year in turnover for a business. It just gives you that sense that there is more money out there. It's very much a limiting belief when you're an employee. There's just no money out there. There's a nice step if you're employees in sales, because you can at least see I've got a younger brother and we put him in sales going through my stores. And at least he can see, he's 16, 17, he can see that on a normal day, 20 grand can go through his garbage. And so he can see that volume of money, and it really gets rid of the limiting belief. If you're an employee and you're trying to do it massively, you've got 18 months to deal with, you can very quickly end up going, well, pay my bills, and you've got no money and you've got no time to be able to then go, right, what can I do to level myself up, learn a skill that can be built at a higher rate, or, even if ideally the skill set may help you can then transition from a job to owning a business. That's point one. I think one of the biggest traps of being employed is you're so time and money poor that you don't even get your head above water to then think, right, what else can I do to make money? Is there a product that I can buy and sell? Is there a service that I can do that I can sell? Where do I find the time to sell it in the first place? This isn't like so. It's very difficult, but you need to really transition into self-employed as early as possible, or in a position in life where you at least see money for it. If you're in an office, if you're sat there and in your role in the company, say my job at Tesco back they were stacking shelves, I never saw money for them. I never saw. I just put stuff on shelf, put stuff on shelf. You're not seeing money flash before your eyes, even if you're not touching it. Really, it's just basically see actually there's volume. I need to put myself in a position where I want to receive the end of that money, or I'm providing something to the marketplace where the money's flowing to, rather than me going not having any direct contact with it. So that's point number. Point number two is let's assume you've managed to make yourself self-employed. For this example, what can we use? What business can we use? We use a builder or carpenter because some sort of trade, because I think it's one of the most common ones. We do furniture, obviously, services slightly different. But once you've managed to break through the employee world and managed to get yourself into the self-employed world, you've at least seen initially how to sell the product or service. Something that I think is the biggest pitfall we suffer for ages is you focus too much on delivering the product or service that you sell. Like you could strangle and really you could strangle some business owners when you speak to them. You can see that they've just not quite managed to put this two and two together. They initially started, but what they're missing is your entire focus should be, especially if you're an established business owner, you're doing it a year, 2 years, you know the game by now. It should be all about selling. You should not do a single other thing. Just half of your day, if you do a 10-hour day, 5 hours of the day, is straight up selling the product. You should be quoting higher and charging more than you're currently charging, and you should be double. So if you 1.5 times your prices, but you spend twice as much time or 5 times as much time selling the product or service, you'd be able to hire people to do the work you've worked. And there's a nice upward spiral there. And then you get referrals, you then get the word of mouth for that. It's a huge knock-on effect. But when you make those two changes, you need to say, your role as a business owner is to sell. It's not to fulfill the product or service that you sell. So we made this mistake for ages. With sofas, delivery is a nightmare. So we spent a lot of time driving around in vans delivering furniture. And we spent much less time advertising, marketing it, selling it, opening a showroom, opening a website, setting up on eBay, all this stuff out of the wayside. We were busy delivering this few sofas that we were selling, and we were charging too little for it. So I think in most cases, it's almost a guaranteed turnover and profit button. If you can initially start with whatever your current price point is, even if you charge the same for the materials, whatever it is you're doing it for a builder, the labor needs to go up, especially for yourself, or the lead contractor, which is yourself doing the work. You need to charge way more for your daily rate. Enough. Even if to start with, just try and put in another 2 hours or whatever it is in the evening to get more work and charge more for yourself and put in the upfront hours of extra quoting more and more jobs, but charging a higher rate. Because then what happens is a couple of weeks, couple of months, a year, say, goes by with that. You can then afford to say, actually, I can employ someone full time. I can pay him almost half what I'm billing. And so then I can get away from work. I'm going to work. My job then is entirely selling. This is the number one aim of any small business self-employed person is you want to make yourself full-time sales. Nothing else should be on your calendar. If you wake up, your only thought, I don't give a fuck how sofas are delivered in our case. My job at this point in time is how we're going to sell stuff. If we can't I want to double, triple, quadruple our sales over a period of time. So that's my only thing that should be in my head. Well, how we're going to deliver on that much product, we don't even have that much product. That shouldn't be your issue at all. Sorry about that. Yeah, you should get someone that you need to then have employed someone, which is the person filling the work to do it. And then if you do a good job and you get more people and you're quoting correctly, you're going to bring more people in. And I just don't think business owners think like this. So I think wake up, go to work, filling the job. It's exhausting, it's hard work, it tires you out. And so you don't have that same success for getting new work in, especially you're making a rod for your own back because you're booking the work, you're going to have to do it in terms of so yeah, you really need to have someone in your company, you ideally, the person who owns it, someone in your company needs to be purely quoting for the work. You need to charge high, don't go premium, charge high, but you need to be quoting 5 times as much as the next guy. And so over time, then you book in more and more work, and you can then, down the line, you look at how we started. We started selling on Facebook Marketplace. You can add new sales channels to it, but getting a bit too far down now. But you can add new sales channels. We used to sell just on Facebook Marketplace. Now we have a website, we have showrooms, we have eBay, we have Amazon. All these places we can sell the product. And you will have, this is the beauty of the first step from employee to self-employed, is you will have a clear way that you know how to find new jobs. It might be that you have the people you do work for give you a referral, which is brilliant, because then that means, all you got to do is every person you find, every 2 people you find, you're going to get a third one for free, and then they'll do the rate and highly recommend it, so it shouldn't have too much of an issue. But it's really important that you employee needs to get self-employed so you can actually see what real money flow looks like. You have limited belief that £2 a month is your budget for your life. That's the case, £10 grand. It should, because as a self-employed person, there is at least a glimmer. You can say, I can see what like £100 a month turnover and £10 grand would look like. You can see that pretty quick. And it's the same for once you get there, like we found when we get there, you look and go, I can see what a £200 a month would look like and £20 a month like it, and you can go through it. And because you've got the confidence that, and the biggest thing that you need to be so confident in yourself that you're working towards is to have a reliable stream of sales coming in. So there's usually a formula to it at some time, but you will know at these price points, if you go to 10 quotes at these price points, you're going to get 1. It's the numbers game. You then need to just say, right, that means I've got to do 100 quotes a month, and then I'll get this many jobs. You need to know your numbers, know your metrics, and you need to say, right, sit down, pen and paper, and go, I'm going this for this, this for this, this. It's a dream job. This is a dream job for me to take on, a dream sale for me to make. That's my price point. My conversion rate on that might not be as high as if I go half that, break even. Then there's no point in making the job, doing the job in the first place. So more, we've worked so hard on making sure our margins are good, because we found running around like headless chickens, I mean, any money, tiring yourself out, it's a nightmare. So you need to have a joy. Every time we quote a sign, you need to know I'm making 10%. Right in my back pocket, I'm making 10% on that all day long. Minimum 15% should be entitled. Shit happens, and you need to reinvest to grow. But it really is. You need to have a much more focus. Every single small business owner, ever you come across this old video, your entire focus should be on selling your product or service as soon as possible, charge the correct price, and it should be hire someone to fulfill. You can train them, you can be on the phone to them fucking 4 hours a day, making sure the standards are good initially, especially, but it should be someone in. The next level you can graduate on from, which we're not touching it now because I want to try and get a slow start to the videos, is you need to then start hiring people to do the sales for you. So this is when you actually build a system where you know, okay, Dave, who I employ, here's the stream of leads that come in. I know with Dave, if he makes 10 calls, he'll get 1 site visit to quote, and he'll close 1 out of 10 of them. So that means he's 100 leads, 10 site visits for 1 sale. I've got a system, and how much does each lead cost? How much does it cost to grow the job? That means each job costs us 500. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how the trade world would work in that, but I know for large purchases and big closes, that tends to be how it goes. It's a fun. It's something that we've really, again, the product is slightly different. With all businesses, you need to be developing a sales funnel, a reliable sales funnel, and you, over time, bolster it with multiple ways that people enter the funnel. But for now, just one. So it could be my dad at Marquee, the Marquee company, and it was a website called Bar. And it basically, you can post on there, put on now, I need Marquee for X-Men, son's birthday, whatever, or wedding. And you pay 5 quid, 10 quid to get access to their contact information, to call them, speak to them. From there, you might get a site visit. From there, you might go to and so, but there's a formula. You can work out formulas to go, okay, I need to sit back and go, especially, obviously, there's variables for someone who doesn't know what they're doing on the phone, there's someone who is, so there's ways to increase the conversion rates of the traffic that you're dealing with. But it's very important. The overall gist you need to really shift towards in this stage, and every single small business owner needs to understand this, is your job is not to fulfill the product or service that you are promising. As soon as physically possible is to get someone else to do that, you need to be selling the product or service that you're offering. It's so, so crucial. I cannot actually believe how many people are caught in this trap who are self-employed, earning basically just a normal £4 grand a month, £5 grand a month take. They run shit through their business thinking they're making loads of money. They are not. They've got a profitable job. And they're so close. This is the frustrating thing about these people, is they're so close. If there's just a few tweaks, and for a period of time, this transition will take, whatever you're working at the moment, you've got to say 4 hours a day extra for 6 months to a year. That 4 hours a day is in quoting way more than you currently are, or selling or advertising or marketing way more than you currently are, and increasing your prices. And there's an upward spiral to it. Over time, then you need to employ someone to fulfill behind you. You've got more time to market more. You can pump that kind of full work. You want to be then escalating that through the gears. But it's just, yeah, you've got to really look at it from that perspective. Once you're at a certain stage, like we now have such a comfortable way of getting sales. We've got our marketing platforms that we use. We know how much each click to our website costs. We know our conversion rate on that website. We know from that website how many people visit the showroom. It's clockwork. We've got the margins, so we know exactly whether they spend 500 quid or 2-3 grand. We know we've got them at 50% margin, and we're going to be the winning. So it's so important to know your numbers. But you spend so much time doing the work, you never understand them. So it's ridiculous. But yeah, I thought, as the first video, I basically go from what I wrote down before start from when you had a job, people in jobs, when I had a job, and your world is so small. You don't really know how the world works. You don't understand how money works. You almost have a real false version of reality in the stage of your life. It's crazy to me that people stay into it until 50s and 60s of their life, because it's such an artificial version of reality. Business owners, you got a glimpse of it, you much more like it, because you can at least, or even like real high performing salespeople can sometimes see it as well. But you can see money from it. You can at least see if there's more than £3 grand a month out there that people are willing to give you. How you going to make profit out of that is another question, which is on to the final step, which is actually owning your business rather than being self-employed. Owning your business. Business owners and entrepreneurs, you guys that are self-employed, it's a flattering time. So the business owners is really where it's at. You need to make sure you're focusing on sales. The next graduation on is that you don't have to do any of the selling at all. You've got teams for selling, for fulfillment, customer service, but we won't even scare you with that. In general, the first leap that everyone really struggles to make is getting away from fulfilling the product or service and moving to selling stuff. What do you guys?